A pleasant good evening to each and everyone in Georgetown, Guyana, the diaspora and elsewhere, friends all. Today I sit down and I was thinking a lot of things. I happen to be born in Georgetown, Guyana. I have seen the good, the bad, the indifference, and the ugly between the two major races that hold power in present and past. I am asking a question. When we have religious leaders, such as the imams, the pandits, and the priests, which is the same nomination of the English faith or the Muslim or the Hindus, all of you know to tell us about Prophet Muhammad and Allah being a Muslim, and what the Quran, the Holy Quran says about the past with the prophets, all the bad things and whatever to expect in the future, only if we believe. Same goes to the Ramayana with the Hindus as their preacher as pandits, or may I say swamis, and the English preachers with the Holy Bible. Friends, I have many questions that puzzle my mind. I was told as a child that if somebody do you wrong, leave it to God. For vengeance is his, said the Lord, according to the Bible. But I started to think, was not Moses a prophet? He could have become the Pharaoh as a prince. Regardless of the story that they found him in the Nile in a basket by the Pharaoh's sister or daughter, whatever the story goes. But there was something beyond Moses. Who is he? Where is he from? What drives him to create a problem with the governing body who was his half-brother? It wondered me. And he gave up all of that and entered into the desert to free his people. Because, as the story goes, somebody squealed and tell the truth that he was not really the heir of the throne and he was really a Hebrew. Well, whatever he was or he wasn't, that's not the point. If he happens to be the prophet of Allah, Bhagwan, or God, as the story goes, he fought against the Pharaoh. The house he growing, but yet for all. He crosses his people over the Red Sea by splitting it and allow them to pass over. While he went for the commandment from Allah, God, or Bhagwan, they were living restlessly, and reckless. They built a golden calf. They were dancing and music, like we see what is happening today in the third world politicians. When it's time for them to win an election or go to the poll, 4 months or 3 months in advance is a lot of party, good words, but when they get in there, you are in trouble. That is why I am saying, for Guyana, 6 people, 6 race, 6 nation, which I call one race, the human race. But according to the motto of the country under the British was Indian, blacks, Portuguese, Chinese, the mixed race as the cosmopolitan, and the owner of the land, the native people called the indigenous people. Whatever happens already happens, it's gone, but the crimes still remain. Under the late Forrest Burnham, 90-something% of the civil servants was all black. It's history. We cannot change that, and no hypocrites could come to dismiss that. We have seen the advantage that take the East Indian race. The Portuguese, they had to leave for Canada and America, most of them. The Chinese followed. And the other race, even the Indians, the decent one, had to run because it was too much. Guyana was operated worse than South Africa, an apartheid system. But you, the blacks in Guyana, you were misled. The decent one was not allowed to speak. They were threatened by the Kobaka Burnham and his crews of dangerous, unambitious people who will do anything for a shake hand and a picture take-up and false promises. The gangsters, as Burnham called the dogs of war. What a shame. He is dead and gone, but the crimes still remain. One will not forget what happens to them. And what happened to those people before the independence in the 60s, up in Mackenzie, Wisma, and other hotspots where the blacks were living in majority, was not right to the East Indian race, especially coming on election, or the other races. But there is not all you black people are bad or evil. There's a group. In every race, there's good and there's bad. You, the black race, was misled. And yet blamed by Stokely Carmichael, Malcolm X, and many historians who butter it against the European white man, so you, the black man in the Caribbean and Guyana. Not forgetting Malcolm X, not forgetting Malik, and many more. When one have not a vision to see far, but only see around them, their shadow could mislead them. And that was what happens to you, the blacks in the Caribbean and Guyana. Politician was schooled in the European, the white man's school, to come back and rule you with a dark complexion and an iron fist more than your black brothers, more than the white man had ever done. All the talks of slavery and all the historians write a 10% truth and the rest are lies. One must consider every race was a slave sometime or the other, even not present now. In West Africa, they are slaves, children. 1.9 million according to information. It's alleged on Facebook. Excuse me. The East Indian now. And you, the blacks, continue talking about emancipation. You talk about the white man slave you, and you rob Africa, what you have done to the Amerindian. Forget the East Indian, because they arrive, as they keep on saying, the arrival day. Was not the Portuguese and Chinese arrived? Mr. Ali, as the president of a cooperating Republic of Guyana, which I said the nation, Guyana was taken away from the Amerindian by the European white man, as you said, they say. And it was given unto children of great-grandchildren of slavery and cheap labor. And you use the same law to justify a crime in Guyana. So if you lock up me, George Correa, for buying a stolen car or property, you have a right. But are you above the law? That you call yourself a leader in a country that you don't belong to you? That was given unto you? Come on. Where are your education? So, Mr. Ali, if the Quran condemn theft, condemn those things, I kindly ask you to enter your resignation if you're a true Muslim and give it up. Because if you didn't know, you have joined to commit something that is not yours and was never yours and will never be yours. Not when India are independent, ruled by Indians and divided by religion with Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka and others. And in Africa, you, the black man, who talk of slavery, Guyana is not yours. Because you slave the Amerindian and rape their women also. With plenty Indians. Businessmen alike, gold seekers. Some of you put them into the whole house. Rum shop, bear garden to clean your yard. And you people are talking about slavery? If the Holy Bible also says that Israel belonged to the Jews, Saudi Arabia belonged to the Arab, can any black man go to Israel or white European or Chinese and claim it? The Palestinians got problem with the Israelites, bulldozing their place, shooting them down in protest and everything, and they're fighting back. That will be a never-ending war. My friends, I am going to ask all politicians, all 65 of you, Indian and black alike, Portuguese and Chinese, if you are in the Parliament of Guyana and you are holding that Guyana is independent, that you are committing a crime. It is an Amerindian country. It's still not free. The Caribbean is not free. Europe, England should take it back and give it to the rightful owner. And since you black people are talking about slavery and emancipation, they should come together and find a part to send you back to Africa. And all the wealth that you have gained in the country from which you are in today, you have to leave it there. What do you think about that, my black cousins, brothers? And you, the Indian, who arrive and claim at arrival day, you also should give up everything back to the Amerindian. It's their own. So why I'm asking this question? Let us assume you're a Muslim. Allah going to take you to heaven. He gave you a piece of land. Will you invade him and take away his land and take him to court in hell? Answer me. Will you enslave Jesus, Muhammad, Musa, Abraham, and all the other prophets? Come on. And you Christian, also who are backing political leader because you're black, or because you get in prags, or you're untouchable. If God take you to heaven, will you do the same? Take away his place and put him in chain? Will you? Maybe Mary is wrong. Maybe you might put her in a whorehouse. If Prophet Muhammad, wife Fatima, Khadijah was wrong, my God, I wonder where you would have put them. You hypocrites. I said it. I call upon the Almighty God to prove to y'all that you're wrong. So I'm calling on the decent Muslim, Hindus and Christians alike to unite. For God made man in his own image and likeness. There's no such thing as a white man, a black man, a brown man, a yellow man, a red man, and a green man. It is man. You are the one that use color, nationality to deny people their rights and justice. You told me, if a man do me wrong, leave it to Almighty Allah, Bhagwan and God. But Jesus, the Son of God, came after. And he says, do unto others as you will like them do unto you. Which means if you kick me, I gotta kick you back. I can't allow God to kick you for me when I feel the pain. I never see this fella. I never see Bhagwan, Allah, nor God. I don't know whether he's a rabbit, a bird, a dove, or a pigeon, or a lion, or a tiger, or a donkey, or a monkey. I don't know. Or a shark, or a whale. But I have to listen and obediently follow the teaching. My God told me to help the less fortunate, not to enslave them, not to go to bed with your secretary because you have money and you're a minister in government, or you're a businessman and you want to go to bed with your servant. You are not Abraham. He had raped the woman called a God, and then lie that the wife tell him to have sex with her. Well, maybe she was retarded. She didn't need psychiatrists. And if she was with God, then God allowed her to do that? You hypocrites. You also don't question. I love to question things. By questioning, I learn. We tried the Indian after the blacks. We had a lot of killing. Drugs, racketeering all over the country. And plenty killing. And we see what happened to the Amerindian, the native of the land. Can anyone Indian go to Africa and take away the black man country? They'll wipe you off the earth. Uganda with Idi Amin was a prime example. Today South Africa is crying after the apartheid system. They used to have a saying, in the apartheid, you can't even get chicken feet. Today they are free and they can't even see a feather. I heard it from South Africans. It is hard. Show me a progressive country that ruled by black people. Only Rwanda was a prime example until they are fighting for power. Show me. And show me an Indian country that run without corruption, obstruction, and thievery, prostitution and gangsterism, thieving land, like what is happening in Guyana. Fellow Guyanese, with the will of God, I call upon you all, let's unite for a national front government. They are good people in both parties, but they're being misled. It is time to put an Amerindian as the head of their country, for they are the one who change the oil problem, the gold problem, and negotiate all contract. We can't use Sadlu, Boodoo, Thomas and Henry to settle a border dispute. We have to use an Amerindian. He could even claim Caracas, Rio de Janeiro, and even Colombia. My friends, let's unite for a national front government. An Amerindian for the leader, followed by the mixed race under him, because you black and Indian had a chance. Followed by the Portuguese and Chinese, then the black and the Indian, and we will go forward with unity, love, inspiration, and the blessing of God, and open up the door to where Guyana began from. Ghana, India, and those in the Caribbean who was in our time of needs, Venezuela, Brazil, but make our law. Every Guyanese family will have a piece of land to build your house and money, but the law will change. No man will be above the law. No ministers, judges, prosecutors, police. And we will work together for a better Guyana to show the world children of slavery and cheap labor can make a difference. Let's unite for God's sake. Because if we put a black again, trouble. If we put an Indian, same trouble. Why are we talking about election? Let's talk about selection. Let's unite. And before I go, all crime that was committed from the beginning of time to now, once you are alive, you shall and will be tried for it, even if 2 children remember what have happened to their family. It will be an open trial, and the nation will decide the fate. So, fellow Guyanese, before I go, if Ali is doing good, let he do. Let's support him. But if he's doing wrong, we have a right to expose him and oppose him peacefully. So let's work together. And whatever past is past. I am George Correa, your host. And please subscribe to the channel. Press the bell. You will get the next updated one. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.